Ooh, back on the big comfy couch. Now we on top. Hey, how y'all doing today?
Hey, what's up? I'm Fariso.
I'm Zerin.
And you were watching We Need to Talk, where every other Tuesday we are celebrating Black love, motivating Black liberation, one tough talk at a time.
Won't be too much of a tough talk. We are going to talk today about Black History Month.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, I love Black History Month!
She's very excited, as you see. And I'm very excited too. And I'm very excited really because I get to wear my Hampton shirt. Yes, Hampton University, the start of excellence. My girl made this. Maya, go out there and support her. Higher Standard on Instagram. I'll put the link on the bottom, but she made these Letterman, I feel like, the Harvards, of the HBCU.
Hey, thank you, Maya. Thank you, Higher Standard.
Yes. And so definitely go out and support like all Black businesses. First of all, we should always be doing that. But definitely go out and support. And so we want to talk about Black History Month. And what about it, Zerin? We want to talk about what it means to us specifically. Like, what about Black History Month is so important to you? And how has it changed you, in the sense of how you think about, first of all, yourself, if you are Black, or maybe, if you aren't Black, how you think of that culture now. And so we want to speak from our perspective, as always. But Black History Month is, to me, very monumental. Very monumental. And I think it starts from just having a legacy of going through like a HBCU. And so like my mom went there, my dad went there, my brother went there. My sister went to the sister school, Tuskegee. And first of all, because some people might not know what it is, HBCU is a historically Black college university. And it really is based off of that because there once upon a time, we couldn't go to any colleges. And so those colleges that people are going to now, like Boston University, USC, UCLA, we had no realm of stepping foot in those. And so we had to create our own. And even within those, a lot of those were just basically agriculture based. And so how to start a farm on your own, which is huge.
That's awesome. I wish, do they still do that? Because I'll sign up for that today.
Talking about how to start a farm?
Yes! Come on!
That's big business. Well, you from Texas, so you probably got some people. We can make it work. But yeah, so like, no, that's the reason why it's called HBCU. And as you see, our vice president, coming from one, good old Howard, our rival, it creates not more than just agriculture mindset, it creates leaders in that subset as well. And so, like I said, it's ingrained in me. So, like HBCUs, or Black History Month is like more than just a month to me. It's like a being, a statement of like, hey, we're here.
We here. We been here. We always gonna be here.
We all gonna be here. That was very country.
I know.
Like,
say it all nice and sweet, right? But what are we really saying?
Some country tea on that one. So yeah, like, what's a little bit like, what does Black History Month mean to you?
I love Black History Month for all the reasons that you're saying. You constantly make me wish that I went to an HBCU. Thank you for allowing me to be an honorary.
Yes, honorary she is.
Also, it's always a reminder of like, I always get a sense of like, but why aren't we learning this in schools? Like, I feel like I always learn things during Black History Month, and I'm just like, I should know this already. As an American, as a Black person, as a citizen of the entire world, like, we should know these things. So like, while I'm also always like really excited about it, there's also this like disappointment of like, this needs to be taught every day in schools, because Black History Month is not just Black history, it's American history, it's world history. So there's always like that tug of like, I should know this. Everyone should know this. We should be teaching this.
Yeah, all the time. But teaching it also in the right way too, because there's there's a part of Black history that's a culture made from Western, culture. And so it's like a lot of things, like the soul foods, things like that. Like that was just because that's all we had left to eat from the master. Think about the
so-called master.
Figuratively master. So it's like there's part of that like we've kind of ingrained in ourselves. That's like, okay, that's our history. And some, as it is, some of it is, because that's just where we came from. But there's like miles to go back, to look at, where we really came from to really understand what that means. So like I said, I used to watch Roots every Black history, but it starts where my old boy gets beat and he's talking about Toby. Like, so it's like, there's more. Like, there's a whole lot more. And they kind of like they did stretch, to it a little bit. But they kind of started where he was getting shipped over, to America. And so it's like there's more about us, I think, that needs to be taught in the school system as well. Don't just start at slavery. Don't just start at Martin Luther King. Don't start at Malcolm X. And speaking of all that, we're talking about history of what Black history, where we're coming from. Let's talk about the now. Because, reality is we are walking as our own historian, every day. And so like us making this content, you going out and acting, me stepping in the clinic, our friends, getting their ambitions out, like those are continuous Black history being made in that moment, and it's awesome to know I can think of my grandma and my great that used to actually be on a plantation, and I got to talk to her, sitting in her own rocking chair in her own house, and knowing the fact that like, whoa, now I'm here in front of a screen making content, being able to have freedom of speech, and it's just like I'm a walking legacy of that, and I'm continuously making history made, and I think that's like so wildly important, because we forget, like, it's not just the Martin Luther King, it's not just, W.E.B. Du Bois, it's us. Like, we are the history. And so, I don't know.
I'm just, 100%, like, and I think it's like, it's even more valid because of where we are as a country, as a world right now. Like, I feel like it feels like every week we're living through a historical event, right? We're living through a pandemic. We're living through an unprecedented, like, administration. We're living through, civil rights movements, right? So when our kids ask us, when they're reading the history books and when they realize that we were alive during this time, they're gonna say, what were you doing? Were you which side were you on? Like, what were you doing? To help with the pandemic. What were you doing to further racial justice?
I was studying for the test though, but but there was a time I remember I was studying for a test and I had my Instagram up. I was trying to showcase the Black Lives Matter. They were having like a thing for the cops, how they were trying to defund them. It's like I was having like a live event and I was studying while like trying to get people in to watch it lively and have this.
But you were doing what you had to do so that you can make an impact right now on the pandemic, right? And like so it's like, which is affecting Black people in a disproportionate way. So like that's your civil rights movement. Like we all have a part to play. And some of us it is like being out in the street. Some of us is being like in the clinic. Like, what is your part? Because we are like living in history, and I'm tired of living in history, guys. I'm like, why is there always so many of that? Like, I'm tired of living in history.
Well, we started living on the wrong side of history.
Wait, hold on. But what I was gonna say, it's like we're going through so much that I just really want to I just want you to know, I want everyone to know that there's a reason why you are here in this world, in this moment, in these unprecedented times right now. So
your role matters. But particularly in Black history, the month of it, I think it's a good time to understand your worth. And how important you are to the system itself. Might be abused by the system, but you are the monumental pedestal of why it works so efficiently. Maybe not to your record, not to your yourself, but it works effectively because of the hard work that you put in.
Absolutely.
And so I saw like great actors are out now. Like we saw Malcolm and Marie. Awesome movie. Got a little shade by some people, but it was a very cinematic, well put together, and it was just like two black actors, and it was just
it was
and then,
so good.
And then you have like the creator that made A Night in Miami. A Night in Miami. What's her name?
Regina King.
Regina King. She knows all these people. We're pretty sure Ray, she's obviously gonna win. But it's like like you're playing like these monumental leaders, right? All in one room, stuck, and it's like never thought about them all being together and being like so collective, But then you think about the actors that did it, for them. So it's like in that moment, those are monumental people playing monumental, roles. That we need to fixate ourselves on that, like, wow, these are the next Malcolms. These are the next, these are huge people. And so it's like every day of this month, for sure, you should be saying like, I got this. Yeah. I am in this seat for a reason. Mm-hmm. I have a role and I'm going to play it. But as we talked about earlier, this month of 365 days of the year, reality,
It should be.
Yeah. So
it is. I mean, it is. Not just that it should be. It is.
It is. And I think we should take this time to appreciate that. So then next month we can still perpetuate it, and the next month perpetuate it again, like that thought process of like, hey, we're important. We're going to make it work. We got a vice president right now. We had a president, I said like we have senators, like they're all out here, making moves. And then
we have people on the farm who are out there making moves. I want to be on the farm.
You really want to go back? You want to go back to when it was an agriculture institute? Yeah. I'm good. I'm pretty sure they were still stuck in some slaves.
There's something so I don't know, just like comforting of just like being able to make your own food.
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure.
Like, I mean, my industry is TV and film, but there's something so comforting of just like, I live on a farm. Like, that's so comforting.
Oh yeah, we can do that. We can do that now. I'm talking about back in the 1800s. Like it probably was still not fun.
Well,
we still were getting treated bad.
Well, yeah, and speaking of that, like speaking of like, because you brought up like Black history and like how they started at like roots, like. And they like talk a lot about slavery during Black History Month. And that blows my mind because first of all, as you mentioned, our history started before slavery, back when we were business people, when we were scientists and we were building and creating all of these wonderful things back home in Africa, right? So it's like, it shouldn't start at slavery. That's number one. And then number two, slavery is not Black history. Slavery is white history. So people will be like, if you have a Black History Month, we should have a White History Month, please, because y'all really need to be properly educated. Let the world be properly educated on what white history is. Put me on that panel. I will vote for that because
she will vote for it, yo.
I will vote for it. I will write it. I'll do all of that. And so, like you said, like teaching it properly, like teaching our history properly, and knowing like what have we done and what have others done, and knowing where it belongs where.
Where it belongs where. So, beautifully said, lady. And I think it's now time for you. Guess where I got some mine. It's our time for you.
What?
Oh, good. It was good, though. Appreciate it. It is now time for you to start thinking about what does Black History Month mean to you, and what has it done for you to make you better or more culturally diversified, even within yourself, if you are like a Black person, or if you're someone of a different culture, like how has that opened your mind to other Black ethnic.
It's okay.
Ethnic, topics and things of that sort. Like, how has that opened you up? And so think about it, comment about it, let us know. Once again, we are proud to say that we are Black brothers and sisters around here. And it's nothing to say that we are, y'all being, not humble. No, it's very humbling. Very humbling. Because like I said, going to HBCU, I finally understood how much I was worth. And just knowing the people around me, how much they were worth, it made me more excited to be myself for who I am.
This is why they don't teach it to us, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why they don't teach it to us.
Start thinking
By
a
the
little
way,
higher.
speaking of Black history, I wonder what your mom thinks of these. What does your mom, let us know in the comments. What do you think about Zerin's here?
Sinbad. The greats all wore some hoops. Anyway, on that note, we love you. We'll see you next time, every other Tuesday. And we out!
Bye!